this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill no one.
Wait a second.
Oh, no.
We return to our planet. The High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies. We like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings, you're watching SeptumSin versus the world. I'm SeptumSin. This is Kotobukijake. And we're here to show you what we got.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
So, I am back. I was very sick with the thing that must not be mentioned. Not that we have that many people, but we are getting slowly more
What, Ted Cruz?
Yes, I got the Ted Cruz. And it's basically knocked me out pretty badly. I have a bad cough still. I'm going to have a cough for a while. My voice is kind of, it's loud enough, but it's going to be scratchy for a long while. I don't know if y'all can tell, but my voice is nowhere near full volume. So we'll just have to deal with it, and hopefully it'll get there. I'm getting my smell back a little bit. Yep, I can smell the orange in this, but I have to put my nose right up in it.
You had the smell loss, huh?
Unfortunately, but not the taste loss, even though, it's muted because, smell is a lot, and taste. Like coffee tasted like basically just hot water to me. But once I got my smell back, I was able to do that. But, certain things like anything that just was taste was there. So I can taste this thing fine. So with that being said, I will let you go first since I've been going first for a while. So
Okay. So for those who are not particularly familiar with the concept, you probably don't spend much time online, but this is the season for summer sales. I guess it's that whole Christmas in July sort of deal, but definitely there were some sales, and a couple of them kind of kicked my ass over the past month, and we'll be presenting some of that as the weeks go forward. But today I wanted to go ahead and just do one because this was one big pickup. It's not numerically dollar-wise. It wasn't the biggest single purchase, but there was just so much bang for the buck. Sentai is still, I think, got an ongoing sale. Sentai Filmworks. Their summer sale, they had some rock bottom prices, and of course, most of those items sold out before I could get to them. To catch, and a lot of ones that were really good prices. And so I'll just go ahead and show up front. What a haul! But that's what we're going through today. And I'm going to kick off with a series called Battle Girl High School.
Interesting.
Which, I don't know really much about this, but it says mysterious invaders have attacked the Earth as the Erosu roam the conquered lands. Mankind has been driven back, but there's one last weapon that may still turn the tide. 3 guesses what it is. Super-powered schoolgirls. But this looks fun. It's a 12-episode series. I really know very little about it, but it was cheap and looks fun, and, what the hell.
I still experiment occasionally, but I don't do it as often as I used to.
Well, sales like this let you do a little more experimenting, you know.
I've done it when they're like $10 or something. But
I think that may be what that one was.
so I don't have any Animu this time around because I'm
I'll
doing
make up for it
right now where I am separating the anime out of my collection again, and ever so often I do that. I combine it, then I separate it, combine it, and I separate it. I'm separating it again. And so right now my Animu is kind of all over the place, and I'd have to step on some of them to get at it, and I don't want to step on any of them. So it's all movies right there because I'm separating TV shows out of there too. And miniseries, not TV movies. I leave those in because I like TV movies. I think they're movies, in my opinion, especially these days. So the first one is a trilogy feature, an upgrade. Is Death Toilet got an upgrade Blu-ray. And they ended up professionally printing the Death Toilet trilogy. Let's focus on that there.
Oh,
I like
it definitely looks a lot more professional than my editions.
Those are the original editions. But these, I mean, the first 3 Death Toilets are interesting. Essentially, they're an Evan Jacobs series. And essentially it's about this toilet that's possessed by evil or something. And this guy who's a Vietnam vet, and this goes in because his relative was killed, and he's trying to find out the reason. Turns out the toilet killed him. And so he and the Father Dingleberry ends up fighting this toilet, and it comes back all 3 times. There's something about the beach scene in the third one, Duty Calls, that I find hilarious. But they all have some kind of tagline, except for the first one. The second one is Death Toilet number 2. So I'm kind of glad to get this upgrade. That way I was able to provide, I think it was Mo, because Mo was doing that, even though I gave you some of the Death Toilet movies too, with the first 3 movies, so that I can spread the love. Believe it or not, the trilogy is getting a Japanese release.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
As strange as that may seem.
Is that the original language?
Oh, well, who knows what it will be like in Japanese. I'd almost get it just to hear it in Japanese.
Uko! Oh. Okay, so, next one up. As you, apologies, this was an early day. Next up, those of you who are frequent viewers know that I am a big fan of collecting the Sentai special edition sets, and I try to do so when possible, although it's not always easy to justify getting them unless I get like a really awesome price. And a couple of series that have gotten that treatment just did not get all that much praise, and apparently were not really worthy necessarily of spending a lot of money on a collector set. So one that I kind of dithered on, and I went back and forth, and I was like, if it's really cheap, I'll get it. But it ended up going really cheap in the standard edition, and I just said, the hell with it, I'll go ahead and get it. And that is the series Chivalry of a Failed Knight, which is also a 12-episode series. Again, I don't know much about this. This one, again, I did hear more neutral to negative than positive, which is one of the reasons I didn't really want to spring for the collector set. But it still looks like it could be interesting. And again, it was cheap. It was like $10 or so. So I figured, what the hell, I'll go ahead and grab it. And I'll still buy the collectors. I'll still upgrade it if I can get that thing for 15 or less. But, you know. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
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 So this next one I got from SRS,
Okay.
and that is Death Reel. There we go. Now, Death Reel is interesting. Of course, the Polonias, or really Mark Polonia now, but it used to be both of the two brothers. They call themselves the Polonia brothers. They made Slaughter Farm, and of course returned to that. The Splatter Farm. As well as some other stuff. Made one of the recent films with a friend of ours, Kyle, in it, Sharkula. So apparently a film collector had been selling off a lot of their stuff, and they happened to have had some of the Polonia's old works that were still shot on Super 8, which is what they began their career on. So some real shot on video shorts. So this is a bunch of their shot on video horror shorts, which is pretty cool. I like the cover. And just in general, the Polonia brothers, they're hit or miss for me, but Polonia, I should say. So still, I really enjoy some of the stuff, and I'm curious. I always like seeing stuff like this. And, you know, this is how people get started in a lot of this time. Sometimes they just go with their Super 8 camera and they take pictures of stuff.
Good deal. Make your own damn movie, right? So next up, I have pieces of a franchise that again, cost has been prohibitive. The vast majority of the Fate series has been an Aniplex release, and they have not been catering to us normal folk who don't want to spend $300 per series. I'm overstating slightly, but only slightly. But certain parts of the franchise have managed to get a Sentai release. And these two pieces are a spin-off series, Fate Khaled Liner, Prisma Ilia. I got the OVA, recent released OVA called Prisma Phantasm, and the movie The Vow in the Snow. And I don't think I have this whole sub-franchise either. I'm missing most of this series that goes with it. But these two were dirt cheap. I think they were like $5 or $6 each. And I actually heard pretty good things about the movie. And just the Fate series generally is mostly good to excellent. And like I said, I would happily snap it up if they were at Sentai prices instead of Aniplex prices. But I'll get what I can, you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, the third season of Ilia is held up. Funimation has the rights to it, but so far they've only wanted to stream it. So it's been locked behind a streaming wall. But the first two are available.
Which is kind of surprising that these two were made available so easily.
And there's another Ilia being released by Sentai in the future. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'd like to get the to that. I've kept up with every other Fate release. I'm only behind by one. And I'm just like, I don't have another $70 to spend right now.
Right.
So this is a... I didn't want to just do a bunch of these. Some kind of holding back on the rest of the series in this, but I got this from Dane, and that is the remake of Death Race. Jason Statham in this one.
Okay.
Different one in the rest of them. But Death Race is about the future where the private prisons have really become big business. And they develop these death races with the prisoners with the idea that, hey, one, if you're participating in these races, you'll get treated better. But two, if you win X number of races, you can go free. So there was a guy named Frankenstein, which he wears this mask. Statham ends up wearing, which is a pretty cool looking mask. And he's been doing really well, but the real Frankenstein dies. And they really want somebody take his place. So they get Statham to kind of invisibly take his place and try and move to the end goal. So it's pretty cool. I enjoyed it. It's not like anything that I'm going to be going like, ooh, best movie ever. But as far as, just popcorn flicks go, it is actually not a bad movie as a popcorn flick.
Sounds good.
It's the unrated version, too.
Next up, this is kind of interesting. I kind of lucked out because I got 2 seasons of a series that, because they appear differently in the alphabet, I didn't even think about the relationship. It somehow didn't click in my brain. I was looking for stuff that I'd been looking at that had come way down in price, and I ended up snagging both seasons without putting 2 and 2 together. So I lucked out on that one. And that's the series Hamatora, the animation, and the sequel, Hamatora, which apparently they're about a detective agency based out of a coffee shop featuring people with superpowers. I know nothing really about the series beyond that. I don't really know why it caught my attention in the first place. But it's been on my radar for some time. It's been one I wasn't willing to pay a lot for. But again, like I said, the price came down. I just happened to feel that way about both parts. And that was fortunate. And I'm glad I finally got it. And again, 12 episodes per. So that seems to be a theme with most of these. But yeah.
I'm trying to double check what country is Tagalog?
Tagalog is a Filipino language.
Okay, so that's probably it then. So this is, I'm guessing, a Filipino film, then The Death of Nintendo.
Huh.
It's kind of like upside down-ish, I guess, but this was released by Vinegar Syndrome.
It's a neat I was going to say it's a neat cover, but obviously if it's Vinegar Syndrome.
Oh, yeah, it's probably like that because,
he's laying on his bed.
On his bed. And, this is the actual one. It's about these kids who are kind of just living their life and having some coming-of-age stuff going on in the midst of a volcanic eruption, one of the bigger ones that rocked the country. And they, of course, spend time reading comics and playing Nintendo games. So it looked interesting. I got it on the summer Black Friday sale. When I picked up one that I knew I had to get because I wanted it with the slipcover. This one just happened to still have the slipcover in stock at the time. It's like, okay, this looks cool. I'll add to the collection. So who knows? Maybe it will be worth watching.
Right. Well, admittedly, with Vinegar Syndrome, I'm a little more surprised that it doesn't have a title like Death by Nintendo or something like that. But whatever. Okay, so next up is one that I'm almost sure the main reason I got it was cheap. This one's barely flickered on my radar, but it was there. And it's called Cuckoo or Cuckoo or however you say that, moment by moment. A single moment can mean the difference between hope and despair. It's 6:59 forever. The members of the Yukawa family have inherited the stasis spell, the power to stop time. When they use their power, they enter stasis, a world where everything has stopped. One day, Juri's nephew and brother get kidnapped. Trying to rescue him, their grandfather uses the stasis spell. They're suddenly attacked by others who are also able to move in stasis. It's a race outside of time. So actually, that's kind of an interesting description. Wait a minute. Okay, apparently it's Kokoku. It's kind of hard to tell from the way that was drawn. So this is also 12 episodes. Yeah, might be good for something different one of these days down the road.
Well, Mo would be happy. I didn't catch him so that we could do our Bad Ben.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a film by Chris Sievert's company, Warlock Home Video, which is a Death O' Lantern remake. I don't know much about this other than it's a remake of the classic film. And it looks fun. It looks twisted, a little bit off. I need to get into the Sievert, or Sievage, as Mo puts it. Actually, I have a couple of Sievert's things that I'm going to be covering this time. So Mo would have loved this particular one, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But should definitely check that out. Actually, it was pretty cool. I talked with the man myself, and I ordered a large amount of stuff, and Mo had apparently put in an order for me. And so we both he coordinated with, and Chris Sievert coordinated with Mo, and managed to get the stuff I didn't get, which was kind of cool. So I don't have the whole thing, but I've got a good number of his catalog.
Cool.
Like your favorite movies, the Filthy McNasty ones.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. Anyway, next up, I have a movie. I didn't realize it was a movie, and that would explain why it became so cheap so fast. But this is actually a relatively recent release. I want to say like within the last 3 years or so. Maybe it's older than that, but I feel like it's in the last 3 years. But it's a movie called Laidbackers, and this is one I've been very interested in. I'm not sure what caught my attention. It's an amusing-looking cover. I like the title. Like I said, I didn't realize it was actually a movie. It's a story about cute, adorable girls and some demons. So basically, it's about this girl who went to run her grandmother's sweet shop, and the adjoining building has 3 girls in residence who supposedly are demon hunters who kind of gave up on looking for the demon lord they were supposed to be hunting and just kind of hang around doing cute girl things. And then the demon lord herself shows up, but she's reformed and wants to join them hunting demons, apparently. So, I don't know, that sounds like a fun premise for a movie, and I definitely am curious about this one. I look forward to seeing it, probably after a while, but hopefully sooner.
Sooner than later. I've seen that one a bunch of times. I've been tempted, definitely.
Yeah.
So, some more of the Sievage, so to speak. The Death O' Lantern double feature, which has the 2 short films that were originally shot on VHS. And I'm guessing from what I'm saying, because the back doesn't tell you anything about the plot other than, hey, guess what? We got the originals on here. I'm like, all right, but what are they about? My guess is that they're about they're slasher films. And what's funny is, of course, you can tell that the company is small time because of that. Now, when we finally get stuff that I'm making, and I'm currently working on a project right now where I am making a second official release. So that's going to be the Shackle Demon Project's going to be releasing officially either this month or next month. And then this next one should be later this fall. So that'll be two films that I have actually officially produced. Made the menus, did the cover art, did disc art, and helped put together a lot of the stuff. So, I'm looking forward to that. I understand this process a lot better now. Matter of fact, I think the covers I put together are about as good as this. So, but you'll see that probably next time. I'll put both of those up to show.
Okay. Sounds fun. So lately, there's been a glut of anime in certain genres, and we're seeing more isekai than anyone knows what to do with. We're also seeing a lot of sports anime and what have you, which, although that's kind of been fairly common, a lot of food anime lately. I think Food Wars is having a big impact there. But another one where there have been quite a few has been Idol series. And I've only seen a couple of Idol series, but I absolutely loved Love Live. I really did. And this one apparently has something similar in the basic premise, and that is the series Loco Doll, which is apparently about a bunch of people who put together to do an idol group to increase the tourism industry for a failing town. School Idol project was more for like a failing school. So, kind of a nice, cheerful, upbeat inspirational kind of premise behind the formation of the group sort of deal. I haven't seen this. I don't know what the music's like. I don't know, if it's going to feel like a Love Live knockoff or if it's going to feel like its own thing. But it's been on my radar since it came out, and I'm certainly happy to finally have it.
There's a lot of those types of things lately. Let's see here. I'll turn it like that. So what are we doing? Let me see here. I'm just reading this.
Oh, that's a 13th episode.
Apparently, I've read this one, and I think Dave gave this to me. So we have Dear God, No. I don't know if you would like this or not, but hey.
I like the title.
Let me read you the back as best I can.
Okay.
Bikers, bullets, boobs, blood, beer, and Bigfoot. A vicious gang of murdering and raping bikers and the Impalers invade a home after a bloody shootout at a strip club. Humiliation, rape, and murder follow, but there is something in the basement and in the woods. Sasquatch. This politically incorrect exploitation throwback to the 70s is a fun grab bag of biker film, home invasion flick, Bigfoot monster movie, stag loops, and even some Nazi exploitation.
Huh.
I really do think that I have seen this one. I kind of remember bits and pieces of it.
Sounds like something you either couldn't unsee or that you would block from your memory.
I didn't hate it, because if I hate it, I remember it. And if I love it, I remember it. So it must have been just okay.
Okay.
Must have been
Isn't that
just
something? So, speaking of sports anime, I didn't even mean to set this one up that way, but another 12-episode series with lots of cute girls is a show called Long Riders. And obviously, it's about bikers. And I really, again, I know relatively little about this, but I've heard, obviously, Yomusha Pedal has been a big hit recently. This was probably trying to ride on its success in a sense. I look forward to seeing it eventually, but I'm not really an enormous sports anime person, but I've enjoyed some of them. And I certainly don't mind having, I like variety. And I think you'll probably see them from this pile. I've got a pretty good variety here. So if I ever get to sit down and seriously start watching through my collection again, I look forward to hitting some of these. And this one does look fun.
So, I got one here. I can't remember where I got it from. I think it was Wet Movie 1. I saw this and I had to get it, and that is The Deadly Bees.
Ooh.
It's an old movie from 1966 about this woman who gets away to this island. And apparently these people keep getting killed off by this swarm of killer bees. And she's got to figure out who has weaponized the bees before she gets killed herself. It was okay. It wasn't like super bad. I'd say it was more memorable than Dear God, No. I remember the plot, and it's been a while since I've watched it.
I wonder if I ever saw that. I feel like I saw a movie about killer bees, but I doubt that was it.
Yeah, could be.
Funny thing, though, from what I'm reading about this next one, that one might be used as a government propaganda piece for this one, so it's a good segue. Because the cover art, it made it look sort of like Reefer Madness, that sort of deal. So, next one is actually one that I had some interest in, and it came down in price, and so I snapped it up, and that's called Love and Lies. And that is also 12 episodes. High school romance is even more complex when the government assigns you a spouse. It's an old story. Boy loves girl. Girl admits her love for boy. And then the government says, no, you have to marry this other girl instead. So that's an interesting setup, isn't it? And I feel like I read some stuff about this, and it seemed like it got pretty good notices. It's certainly a good premise for a more unique take on the high school romance genre. And like I said, this is one that has been on my radar for some time, and very happy to finally have it. This might be one of the ones I would actually make an effort to get to sooner.
Here. All right. So my next one is a Dollar Tree pickup called Deadly Heading. Evil on a Plane. Apparently...
Deadheading.
Or Deadheading. And apparently this stewardess hooks up with this dude and then wakes up and he's dead. And she's got to find out what happened and who killed him while they're in the air. I don't know much about it. I've never seen it, never heard of it. But it was a Blu-ray that was over at Dollar Tree at the time. So I was saying, okay, well, I'll give it a shot. You never know. Could be good.
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, not much I can say about that, really.
Right. That's all I have to say about that. So next one up, we have another 12-episode series, but this one comes with an OVA. And this is one, again, it's been on my radar for a minute, if only because the title caught my attention. And finally came down to honestly, I thought I had this one, but apparently I didn't. So, okay. And that is a series called Matoi the Sacred Slayer. Apparently it's about this girl who it says, what if the fate of the world depended on someone who didn't want the job? I've actually seen that premise on a couple of things. But basically, this girl who wants to live a normal life is somehow turned into a high-powered exorcist. And, well, she kind of has to exercise things. So, like I said, this looks...
Reluctant heroes.
What's
Seems
that?
like a lot of these are about reluctant heroes.
Right. But it looks fun. It looks good. I'm like I said, it's been on my radar for a minute, and finally came down to a price where I couldn't say no.
Well, I've got one that I reacquired after getting rid of. And to tell you the truth, I'm kind of glad I got it back because I really liked the movie. It's a guilty pleasure movie. But Dane had it on Blu-ray, and I don't know whether I got rid of it or I lost it. I think I lost it. And that is Dead or Alive. The special edition. This is silliness. It's based off of the fighting game by the same name, which its claim to fame, the original game's claim to fame was having boob physics. Now, this one, to me, it's just a general fun about these girls who are summoned to this island for this tournament, but it's the front for something else. And I kind of like how they do the fights, is that they're given pagers, and when it's their time to fight, they got to seek each other out and just fight wherever they are on the island at the time. I really did like this series. I would love to see another entry in it. But it's another one of those that just mirrors that whole Bruce Lee film, where they go to the island and the island's a front for a criminal thing and all that stuff. But still, it's fun. It's mindless. It's got some pretty nice figures in it. And just in general, if you enjoy that sort of thing, hey, mindless action, it really is fun. It's a guilty pleasure, and it's really enjoyable.
Okay. So, next up, I've got one that looks fun. And this is another 12-episode series called Magic of Stella. And apparently this is a cute girl anime about ones where they are creating games, making their own computer games. So that could be pretty fun. I feel like I've heard good things about this, but I really couldn't swear to it. But it certainly looks cute and enjoyable. And like I said, I saw it at whatever price it was, probably around $10. I was like, gotta do it.
So my next one is going to be one I got from the Arrow sale. They had lots of sales this July.
Yeah.
And this one is a Takashi Miike project, which is Dead or Alive, the trilogy. I've heard this is over-the-top insanity.
So have I, which is what stopped me from getting it.
I mean, beginning with an explosive 6-minute montage of sex, drugs, and violence, and ending with a phallus-headed battle robot. I mean, right there. So, yeah, I've got to check this out. It looks fun, sounds like fun, and I like what I've seen so far from that director, so I am curious.
He is one of those directors who is literally all over the map. He does whatever the hell he wants to do at any given time. And
he's good at it, too.
He's good at I mean, I've seen a couple of his movies, but he does have a reputation for going there. It's not always where I want to go. So next up, this was like dirt cheap. I think it was $1. And from what I understand, it was probably worth about that. But, whatever. I could, I buy that for $1. And that's a movie called Planzette. 3D movie. I really don't know much about it. It's a futuristic sort of movie set in 2047. An alien life form descends upon the Earth, destroying all the major cities in one fell swoop. And it's basically about the band of rebels trying to stand up for themselves and what have you. I'm not expecting high art for this, but again, like I said, I'd buy that for $1. And I did.
Indeed.
Unfortunately, most of the dollar ones were sold out before I got to them.
Well, I've got one here that's by a director that's a friend of Wet Movie 1. And I wanted the movie, but I wanted to keep the Blu-ray that I got of one of the other ones. But Oldies was selling this dirt cheap. And that's Dead Kansas, which also comes with An Hour to Kill. Now, An Hour to Kill has a bunch of the Wet Movie crew in it. Dead Kansas is done by a director called Aaron Carter, and he also did An Hour to Kill. And like I say, he's on a lot of Wet Movies videos. I have not seen either, but it was like $1, less than $1, and I said, I can double dip into it for that. So I look at this more Dead Kansas, and I'm keeping my Blu-ray of An Hour to Kill. So, what is Dead Kansas about? In a post-apocalyptic land overrun by zombies, a former preacher and his teenage daughter Emma struggle to survive. The plague that created the zombies also wiped out most of the world's female population, meaning that Emma is looked upon as near religious devotion by the survivors. So the other is An Hour to Kill is these both seem to be more like anthology picks, whereas Dead Kansas is kind of a 5-part web series that was put together into a movie, and An Hour to Kill is got these two hitmen who are just telling stories while they're doing hits. So I was curious about that. I'm glad that I'm finally getting hold of it and look at it. And yeah.
All right. Okay, my next one. From the look of it, you'd probably think it's a little bit touch of class compared to a couple of the ones I've put up. Because it does have really pretty cover art, and that's a show. Once again, I think it's a 12-episode series. Yep, 12-episode series called The World Is Still Beautiful. This is politics make for strange bedfellows, especially when you're a princess, where bedding some strange fellow may be your duty to your country, which is how Nike, fourth princess of the Rain Dukedom, finds herself being shipped off to marry the king of the Sun Kingdom after losing a game of chance with her older sisters. Oh, so it starts off partly the way Rama does. And if it wasn't bad enough, King Livius is apparently a power-bad potentate who's managed to conquer most of the world in a few short years. Nike even manages to get herself mugged as soon as she arrives. But then something strange happens, and Livius turns out to be, well, not nice, but not what Nikkei expected, etc., etc. So there's a little bit of that royal courtship drama sort of deal going on in play here, but it looks like it's also got a lot to do with politics. And to be honest, anime that delve into politics tend to fascinate me. So that could actually be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. And it was pretty cheap too. So like, dollar for dollar, this may be one of the better ones I picked up, but I can't say that for sure until I see it. Because Maoyu was another one I picked up cheap on a Sentai sale that got hardcore into politics, and I just loved it. And then it just kind of ended because they ran out of ideas and money, and the show was over. And that kind of infuriated me. So hopefully that won't happen with this one.
I need to watch World War Blue, where they did anime versions of the Soda Wars.
Yeah.
I was there.
Good.
So this next one is a full moon feature. When we get to it, Mo and I are supposed to do a discussion on it on his channel. It's one I got rid of and then I repurchased. It was cheap on the full moon sale. And that is... Actually, no, I got this one on Oldies, which is The Dead Hate the Living. Now, can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Essentially, when a renegade band of young filmmakers break into an abandoned hospital, they make a horror epic. They stumble upon a real dead body and decide to use it in their movie. They accidentally bring it back to life, open a portal of the dead, and release dozens of other zombies, and then struggle for their lives as they attempt to free creatures who apparently have them hopelessly trapped in the hospital. This one was okay. I liked it all right. Nothing big. Worth like the 70-some cents I paid for it at oldies.com. But, Mo wasn't that flattering in his review, and I'm sure when we finally get to it, it'll be interesting.
Very good. All right, for my last one, I decided to end the pile. As you may have noticed, most of these are ones I know relatively little about. Even the Prisma Ilya series, I know the character Ilya from Fate Zero. I mean, not Fate Zero. The original Fate Stay Night, and from the original movie Unlimited Blade Works. But I don't think I've seen the spinoff yet. So, but this one is one that's been on my radar for a while. But I actually checked out the first volume of the manga from the library and read the first volume. So I have a little bit of a manga background for this one. So that helps. And this is another 12-episode series, another music themed, but it's not an idol series. It's more about like someone who's a full-on musician with the writing and the instruments and the singing. And that is a series called Anonymous Noise. It's about, and there's a little bit of a Chihaya Furu theme too, with this girl who finds her meaning and her love in music. Kind of Chihaya Furu did the same thing with Karuta, but the two chief influences on her disappear from her life, and then when they come back, they've kind of gone their own separate ways. And so she is trying to kind of get the band back together, if you will, even though they weren't really, you know what I mean? It's that sort of vibe. I did enjoy the first volume of the manga. I've heard mixed things about the anime itself, but it has been on my radar for some time. And I really wanted to get it. And I think it was $12 this time, which for me, that's a pretty good price to get something that is on my radar, but I'm not really wanting to spend a lot for it. So this probably was one of the pricier ones on this whole stack, actually. But like I said, I think it was $12. So it's So I can tell you, I didn't spend a whole heck of a lot on all this anime, relatively speaking. But like I said, I really did. What's that?
A full $12.
Yeah. So again, with a show like this, a lot of it hinges on the music, and I haven't heard the music. So if it turns out the music's crap, then that's going to hurt the show a little bit. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this. I did enjoy the start of the manga. I plan to get back and read it eventually. Just, so much other stuff going on.
Isn't it always?
Yeah.
So, last one. More Sievage, but the one that got me interested in doing another buy, which was the Blue Cheese Brothers.
Nah.
Mo showed this in the chat, and I was like, okay, I've got to get a hold of it. Shot in 2008, never released until now. The Blue on Blu-ray, spelled B-L-E-U. The Blue Cheese Brothers is an out-of-this-world earnest fan film, which shows you the earnest fan, what happened after his untimely death. Two geeky and awkward brothers set out on an adventure with their shitty friend, Gotharella, to bring back Ernest from the dead so he can finish the last Ernest film, A Nightmare on Vern Street. Before they can do so, they must battle the devil, who is a busty she-wench that loves show tunes and evil.
She-wrench or she-wench?
She-wench.
Yeah.
She sends her minions, Dimitri and Mendoza, a giant boobed porn demon, to thwart the brothers' plans to resurrect Ernest from his hellion cage. You will also witness one of the most mind-reeling sex scenes ever to put to video. I don't know. I am a fan of Ernest, and it sounds like, from what Mo tells me, this was definitely a labor of love to the actor, and Jim Varney was a very memorable actor, and I'm definitely curious.
I'm curious.
So that should be everything.
Yep.
So, I guess if you'd like this, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and share, and check out the link in the below for the Versus Awards. Get your votes in. Because
2 weeks left.
Yep, 2 weeks left, and voting ends, and we want to get more participation in there.
Yep.
All right. Well, we will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.